The noise you hear in your mind is an echo of your unresolved wounds. Have you stopped to notice this? Every mistake, every failure reverberates in your consciousness like a war drum. Instead of justifying yourself, you hide away. Self-pity is a poison that taints all your reactions. Confronting your wounds demands an emotional brutality few are willing to endure. You might ask yourself, what really happens when silence isn't a choice, but a necessity? Loneliness becomes your accomplice. It whispers truths you hesitate to hear. What do you do with this pain? The answer to that question isn't simple, but its value lies in radical honesty. Rather than crafting comfortable narratives, allow the pain to speak for itself. I challenge you to look into the eyes of your past. Those mistakes you carry, they are not labels meant to define you. They are instruments. We struggle to justify our actions, but silence teaches. It allows you to observe. It creates a space where reflection prevails over defense. The more you commit to silencing the need to explain, the more power you regain. If an attack is inevitable, why not let others invest in your narrative? They need answers, but you shouldn't offer yourself as a shield. Never explain, just observe. The power is yours when you take the focus off yourself and place it on the game before you. You may wonder if you're ready for this truth, or if you prefer to remain suffocated by your own voice. Making peace with your wounds is essential, but it is even more important to understand that silence can be your greatest weapon. So, before we continue, take a moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Observation is a form of power. While others drown in the need to justify their mistakes, you become an attentive spectator. It's not just about being silent. It's a state where you allow the world to reveal itself, where the voice of another echoes louder. Instead of reacting, you learn. Silence becomes a minefield where others, rushed and confused, stumble over their own words. In the heat of conflict, true cunning lies in stepping back. Loneliness is your ally. The idea that a mistake must be defended in the public arena is a trap. Never explain. If you commit to looking instead of speaking, others will become enmeshed in their own narratives, distorted and laden with emotion. You are the lookout as they play with fire. But calmness is essential. The pressure to justify your choices can be overwhelming. Self-pity is an enemy you must eradicate. Behind every word lies a need for understanding and acceptance. After all, who doesn't want to be heard? But true listening is an act of choice. Choose not to be part of their narrative. Master the art of active listening. Hear what is genuinely being said, but don't let it consume you. Every word you hold back is a fraction of power regained. Information is your armor. The more you observe, the clearer you become. The more control you exert in a chaotic world. The strategies of the silent are often more effective than the rhetoric of others. When an attack is imminent, apply your strategy. Let them burn themselves out. In the end, understanding that silence is a choice, not a punishment, transforms vulnerability into strength. So, play the game wisely. You are here to observe and learn, controlling the narrative without ever opening your mouth. Pain is not weakness. It's a tool for reconstruction. When you make a mistake, the world expects you to justify yourself. The expectation is clear. You need to defend yourself. But what if I told you that true strength lies in refusing to justify yourself? The irony of vulnerability is that it's not a weakness to be hidden. It's an opportunity to rise again with cunning and control. Vulnerability exposes a brutal truth. Making peace with your own mistakes is the first step toward power. Look at the pain. Focus on the pain. This isn't suffering, it's the furnace where your wisdom merges with experience. The screams of the past echo in your mind, but you don't need to scream back. A response isn't necessary. Let them twist their narratives while you observe. The role of a spectator is more powerful than it appears. While they get lost in justifications, you absorb information. Every failure they make, every inconsistency becomes ammunition in your hands. The image others have of you doesn't define your true worth. When you step back and observe, you're not hiding, you're preparing your strike. Silence is your first line of defense. Whenever the pressure to justify your actions intensifies, remember, never explain, just observe. You give yourself an advantage by allowing others to reveal themselves, their weaknesses and insecurities exposed to the light. The choice to not thwart their criticisms and attacks transforms vulnerability into resilience. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you are actually arming yourself. They expect tears, but you deliver resilience. They want you to defend your mistake. You ignore the sting of pain. Reflecting on that pain isn't just accepting failure, it's evolution. You reinvent yourself from that pain, turning shattered pieces into tools. Challenge yourself to think counterintuitively. When external voices press in, silence won't be a weakness, it'll be your strategy. Let their resistance amplify their contradictions. Watch the illusions fade away while you remain steady, a figure of focus amid chaos. They burn themselves out and you are ready to control the narrative. You live surrounded. Enemies aren't always visible, but their intentions, hidden beneath a cloak of generosity, can be deeply harmful. Sitting at your table, they wait for the right moment to strike. Each of their words a thread in a sophisticated web. Don't fall into the trap of thinking the battle is about what's said. It's about what lies beneath the surface. It's in this shadowy ground that true manipulation is revealed. Recognizing hidden enemies requires constant vigilance. They don't just observe your actions, they study your reactions. Every smile is a potential betrayal, every compliment a trap. The emotional control they wield over you can sting. The need for acceptance becomes an exploitable weakness. Do you understand me? Do you support me? Questioning yourself is the first sign of vulnerability. That will lead to your downfall. To regain control, you must be a spectator on a stage where shadows dance. Listen, observe. Every gesture someone makes can be a clue to their true intentions. Let them reveal themselves while you remain an enigma. When you commit to your own narrative, others become prisoners of their own distorted stories. They shout for answers you don't need to provide. Their curiosity turns to obsession. Their need for justification becomes your ruin. When tension rises, test your defenses. Never explain. Instead, lean back and allow them to burn in the fire they created themselves. Let their emotions guide them. Being impenetrable is not just a choice, it's a survival strategy. While they stumble in their lack of clarity, you become the observer. Don't let the urge to prove yourself strong overwhelm you. Being strong is knowing when to remain silent. You must question your own alliances. Who is really by your side? The answer might be uncomfortable, but it's vital. It's the struggle that defines your territory. Protect yourself. Identify the manipulators. Unmask the deceivers. Use the knowledge you gain as a weapon. Knowledge is power, and by recognizing them, you transform vulnerability into a war machine. Don't be fooled by the illusion that empathy offers security. Sometimes what appears to be support is nothing more than a disguise. Silence. Silence is the battlefield where you arm yourself against unexpected attacks. Embrace the void surrounding your interactions. Count to 3. Ask yourself, where are the true enemies? They're not as far away as you think. You're about to enter a game where every move counts. Prepare yourself. Confrontation will be inevitable. True strength doesn't come from shouting, it comes from understanding. Adjust your vision. Manipulators can often be familiar faces, and once identified, their influence dissipates. Use that to your advantage. Let your rivals play their own cards. When you notice them revealing themselves, your mind will be free, and the next move Kanti will be yours as a true maestro of shadows. You find yourself in a room. The lights come on. All eyes are on you. The weight of expectation is palpable. You feel the pressure to justify yourself. But what if I told you that reaction is the trap? The first rule is clear. If you justify yourself, you expose yourself. Relax. Let their need for answers consume them. When you refuse to explain, you create distance, transforming the dialogue into a grotesque spectacle of self-justification. Now, dive into your feelings. Yes, they are a construct, a trap set by others to easily twist the narrative. When you allow yourself to be a spectator, intimate pain becomes raw material for growth. Use that to your advantage. Each emotion they try to exploit reveals a weakness, a blind spot you can use. Accept the urgency they demand. but never take it as real. There's a moment of revelation. You sit on an invisible pedestal. You are the analyst. While they fail to sustain their narratives, you watch them. Their emotional outbursts crumble beneath your vigilant attention. You become a master of control. The stories they tell are bricks that build their own prisons. You are here to observe and document. What is said reveals more than what is intended to be concealed. Look, build your arsenal. Silence your need to defend yourself. As the tension rises, remember, true astuteness lies in remaining motionless. Power isn't found in accusations or defenses. It lies in the silent word you keep. As tension grows, extract their truth. The searing silence is your response, your strategy. So, while they waltz through their defense and uncontrolled emotions, you stay calm, observe their reactions, capture their thoughts. Let them slip into their own verbal traps. Vulnerability begins to expose their directions. This is the decisive moment. What was a battlefield now transforms into a chessboard. Engage. Let their pieces be moved by your hands. You are the master of the game. You are surrounded by a maze of expectations. Think of each mistake as a target in a game of darts. Most will twist and turn, justify themselves, and try to explain why their score didn't go as planned. But here's the shock. Justifying yourself is the true weakness. The narrative isn't in your hands. It's in the hands of those who wish to see you fail. When you expose yourself, you give away power. And you don't want that. You want to control the story. Channel that pain. Transform it into your steadfast ally. You can view your scars as marks of defeat or as emblems of a battle you survived. What matters isn't what happened, but what you choose to tell. And you can rewrite the story. When someone tries to hit your heart with criticism, use that to your advantage. Let the world interpret your mistakes as failures. Sharpen your own narrative. Remember, you have the pen. You decide whether the plot is one of tragedy or resilience. When someone points a finger, the tension dissipates in the art of choice. Most believe that dealing with consequences means justifying themselves. But what if instead of stepping into the ring, you observed the fight from the outside? That is freedom. When others get frustrated by your explanations, you are the one who claims space. Silence reverberates. Boldness astounds. The game is subtle. You have the power to transform your pain into tools of control. The more you refuse to enter the dance of defense, the stronger you become. They expect tears, but you deliver cleverness. They want you to explode with emotion. You flip the script. Let them fumble for answers you're not obliged to provide. In this way, the very absence of defense becomes your strongest shield. Don't be deceived by the pressure to justify yourself. True victory lies in how you shape the perception of that pain. Silence is not a sign of weakness. It's a cunning maneuver. Balance yourself like a maestro, orchestrating reactions. Every one of your movements is a reflection. Every word from them reveals their own insecurities. You don't need to respond to attacks. You're here to control the narrative. So take your position as a spectator. Test their reactions. Get to know their weaknesses. The criticisms you receive are, in fact, a mirror. You can choose not to look. The focus shouldn't be on the pain. It should be on preparation. Learn the art of silent rhetoric. Never explain, just observe. The game is yours. Power is not a solitary act. It resides in community, the strength that comes from deep and meaningful connections. Each bond you form, every authentic interaction, is an emotional armor. True resilience arises from mutual support. Imagine being surrounded. The world outside is hostile, relentless. But within the fortress of your community, you find resilience. You write your narrative together with others, as each story intertwines, forming an impenetrable fabric against external attacks. Understanding this is crucial. Communities become sanctuaries. Emotional connections are the key to overcoming not only collective challenges, but also the internal conflicts that consume us. Do you know what the cleverest trap is? The belief that you must face battles alone. This twisted idea poisons the soul. Forget the pride of carrying the weight by yourself. Look around you. Solidarity can be your shield. Strengthen those connections. Invest in them. When you unite with others, the weight of mistakes and failures becomes lighter. The pain that might isolate you in solitude can be shared, transformed into learning. You're not fighting against the current. You're building a boat with those who also swim against the tide. The line between you and others becomes indistinct. By surrounding yourself with allies, the act of vulnerability transforms into a powerful strategy of resistance. When challenges arise, the collective allows you to find strength when you feel weak. Every mistake can be a springboard, an opportunity for growth, not a stigma. Strength is not the absence of failures, it's the ability to rise together. When one of you falls, the group gets back up. True support comes from shared empathy, so don't underestimate the power of mutual assistance. Transform your connections into a source of strength. Reinvent yourself alongside others. True victory is not individual, it's collective. Share your scars. They will resonate with others in ways you never imagined. In the end, every step taken together is a step toward your own recovery and the strengthening of the whole. Power is not a solitary act. It solidifies in the bonds you form, in the interactions you nurture. By embracing your imperfections, you don't lose, you gain. Pain becomes a tool for reconstruction. Your wounds shape the fabric of the collective, transforming into ties of empathy. When you dare to share the scars of your journey, you not only become stronger, but create a fortress around yourself, a shelter. The world tells you that you have to bear your weight alone, an insidious trap. Look around you. Solidarity is waiting. Each mistake carries a lesson that, when shared, lightens the burden. You fall, others will lift you up. Strength does not reside in the absence of failures, but in the ability to rise together. The connections between you and others are your true arsenal. Difficult moments carve the path toward collective excellence. The intertwined stories create a battlefield where each person strengthens in the vulnerability of the other. Stay quiet when it feels like you're alone. It's when true unity shines. Lean on your connections. Let them become your shield. In doing so, you not only transform your narrative, but also that of everyone who shares the same space. But be cautious. You must distinguish true alliances from insincere voices. By surrounding yourself with loyal hearts, you eliminate the toxicity that can undermine your strength. Face the need for acceptance, but never at the cost of your integrity. Your narrative should never be distorted by the weaknesses of others. Stay alert and keep your focus. Control arises from a chorus, not a solo performance. True power lies in community. This is what turns vulnerability into resilience. By reinforcing these connections, the next battle won't just be yours. It will belong to everyone. Remember, every story told, every scar shared are elements that together weave an impenetrable net against challenges. And thus, you rise. Together with others, you inadvertently create a new future where strength is collective. You're not here to defend yourself, you're here to conquer. Your role is that of a keen observer, your mind intact, your power interwoven. When the attack is imminent, stand firm. In joining forces, you don't just survive, you emerge unassailable. What do you do with your scars? Are they burdens or weapons? Each untreated wound echoes your failures, a harsh reminder that the world won't stop for you. The audience will expect an explanation, they seek to understand. But understand this, the moment you defend yourself, you put yourself in a position of weakness. Control resides in refusal. Pain is fertile ground. If you allow yourself to dig there, you'll find not just suffering, but the potential for power. Transformation begins when you stop justifying your choices. Each mistake is not a stain on your reputation, but an opportunity carved in stone. Look at them, those who seek answers. Their urgency to create narratives while you simply observe is your advantage. Vulnerability. They expect you to hide it, but what if you use it? That becomes your shield. Feelings are not weaknesses, they are weapons. When you confront pain honestly, it doesn't destroy you. It reconfigures you. It establishes a foundation for what's to come. Each unanswered question is a blow to their insecurity. They want you to expose yourself. Don't fall into that trap. Never explain. Just stay resolute. While you observe, they lose themselves in the pursuit of reasons they don't have. Power lies in your ability to silence the unrestrained voices. If you remain silent, you become a mystery. Hold your tongue before they know what you think. When you don't justify yourself, you rearrange your presence. The attack doesn't touch those who hide in the shadows of silence. Any wound can be healed. It's not about forgetting, but about therapy, about challenges that draw out sharp knowledge. This isn't an act of weakness. It's an inventory of what defines you. You are preparing yourself. Wounds become marks of wisdom. The world, when it sees that you carry this without needing to defend yourself, starts operating with a new dynamic. The cycle of your scars is a cycle of power. You are not defined by the fight, but by your serenity. Silence the need to justify yourself, and in doing so, you reinvent the game. What once was a battlefield transforms into a chessboard. The next move will be yours, more precise, more controlled. In silence, you rise again.